Now we have another very, very, very good speaker waiting to share with us his knowledge. Professor from Vienna, Professor Wolfgang Wimmer. Wolfgang, please activate your microphone and your camera. And the next topic is extremely important because, as we said many, many times, we need a clean air, and the air from a beehive can be problematic if we use chemicals inside. So now let's see how to deal with this problem, how to have a chemical-free beekeeping. Professor Wimmer, the floor is yours.
I feel good. I feel really good. Welcome. Why do I feel so good? Because we are grouping together here for a very important topic, I would say. It's the Beehive Air Therapy. And yes, indeed, we have here something that we can be happy about, especially me, because I was 2 days ago, first time warm weather in Vienna, checking my bees, and all of my 30 hives did survive the winter. And how did they survive it? Yes, with chemical-free beekeeping, which is the base for Beehive Air Therapy. I will speak about that topic now. My name is Wolfgang Wimmer. I'm a professor at the Vienna University of Technology, busy with product development, and I'm a passionate beekeeper. My hives, you can see here, one stand, you know, it's beyond organic beekeeping. I will tell you why it's beyond organic beekeeping. There is another stand. So in total, I have 3 stands, and I am certainly certified as organic beekeeper, but it goes a bit beyond that. So what is the current situation we are facing? Well, for those who are in Australia, you are lucky, you don't have the problem. We have a problem. What is the problem? It's the Varroa mite. So the Varroa mite, ectoparasite that has been brought to Europe in the 1980s and is still, imagine, is still causing massive problems and hive losses. And this is why we have to treat. If we want or if we don't want, we have to treat. We have to treat against this parasite. And so there are several practices established, but guess what? These problems are getting bigger and bigger due to climate change. So the Varroa mite finds in our areas here in Europe better and better condition to survive and damage our bees. And so, you know, in organic beekeeping, we learned that we have some acids we can apply, formic acids, oxalic acids, etc. And they are allowed to treat against the Varroa mite. But as Beate said, as Stefan pointed out, there's a no-go. There's a no-go. You cannot use a contact poison like oxalic acid in January and sit some asthmatic children in May to the same hive. This is a no-go. You cannot do that. But in this group, I guess it's clear. So we need another way. We need another way. We cannot not treat our hives because then we will lose them. So with Beehive Air Therapy, we need the purest of the pure condition possible. So no chemical whatsoever. Also because, and Beate pointed out correctly, because these chemicals are also accumulating in the wax. So if you say, well, we have fresh, you should have the purest wax, preferably your own, where there's no chemical ever seen in the hive. So chemical-free beekeeping, yes, chemical-free beekeeping, it is possible. And I show you now how it is possible. With hyperthermia. Hyperthermia is a heat treatment. It is a heat treatment that can be applied. It's known since the 1990s. So there was Professor Engels from the University in Tübingen in Germany who found that out. He did research and he's found out that the mite sustains a little bit less temperature than the bee pupa. And the mite and the bee pupa both are in the cell, in the breeding cell, in the capped, closed breeding cell. These two animals are in there, and we know where they are, and we know how to treat them without chemicals, with heat. So capped brood, we had, the mite resists less temperature than the bee pupa. And I told you that I'm a product developer, did I? Yeah. So more than 11 years ago, we started with developing a product, which is now 11 years on the market successfully in whole Europe, and finding more and more fans, so to say, who also want to have chemical-free beekeeping because of the wonderful quality of the beehive products that we can gain from this practice. So the product is called Varroa Controller, and it allows you chemical-free beekeeping. So before I'm not so sure if everyone is a beekeeper here, but mainly work with beekeepers. So I give you some facts, 3 facts about this Varroa mite. What do you need to know? Basically, you need to know what is the uncontrolled reproduction rate of this mite, of this parasite. So the parasite we could consider being the enemy. So we have to understand what is the reproduction rate. Then we need to know, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, it's in the hive. But where? In the breeding cells. And phoretic on the adult bees, yes, as well. To what percentage, etc. We have to understand that. So reproduction rate, location, and then, of course, the limit, the threshold. How many mites can a healthy hive survive without any problem? So these 3 things we need to understand. So the reproduction rate here, clearly, it goes very fast. And those who can read the numbers, they say, yeah, wait a moment. It's doubling per month. It's doubling per month. So it's an exponential growth. So when you say, well, in February, I just have 100 mites, don't worry. You know, these 100 mites turn into 3,000 within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. And 3,000 is way too much, you will see. So then where are they? Where are the mites? You say, yeah, well, 80% of the mite are trapped. Where are they trapped? Behind me, yeah, here, you see them, the breeding cells? They contain 80% of the mite in spring. In summer, around about 70. In autumn, still more than half. Still more than half is in the breeding cells. So here we can already see where to attack this enemy. And now you have to look at the photo here, and you tell me, what do you see? Stefan, what do you see here?
Yes.
A bee popo. 2 bee popo. Okay. So do you see any difference? Well, maybe the left one is a normal one and the right one is a short, very tippy, narrow, short bee body. And what is this a sign for? You got it. It's bee viruses. Here we have a sign for a bee virus. And the bee viruses are a massive danger. And now you say, wait a moment. Are you talking about the mite or are you talking about virus? Now I'm confused. I'm talking about both. The mite is transmitting up to 18 different viruses, bee viruses. So not only the mite is feeding on the bee pupa, she's also transmitting viruses to the body of the bee that is developing in the capped brood cell. So here we have an issue, and these viruses are becoming more and more prevalent and more dangerous. They are epidemic virus infections in the meantime. That brings us to the point that it is attacking the bee heavily by bypassing the bee immune system and causing deformed wings, the deformed wing virus, and many other 18 in total, I told you, are different viruses. And here we can derive now the third fact, which is the limit. We have to keep the mite population in a healthy hive below 1,000. Then you can say you're safe. So several studies say if you stay below 1,000, you are safe. But how can you do it? And here comes the treatment. So this is, you see the pupa here. You see the brown spot on it. That's one mite. And you have to treat. You have to treat these capped brood. The capped brood. Why the capped brood? Why the capped? Because they are inside the capped brood. 80% in spring. You treat it with heat, with temperature, to the point that the mite dies and the pupa is not harmed. This is hyperthermia. Heating up the whole hive is not working. Forget it. So you have to treat the capped brood frames. So this is what we are doing now. I show you now this annual treatment plan. How does it work? Over the beekeeping year. First, we do the spring treatment, obviously. Then we do the summer treatment where we use a Duplex-Framebox. I'll show you in a minute what that is. And then we go into autumn treatment and combat also possible reinfections of hives other than ours, other from somewhere where they may bring in other additional mites again. So these 3 points, spring, summer, autumn, is very, very important. So here you have the graph again, 100, 200, 400, 800, but then no, 800, no. We do a treatment. Let's say we do the treatment here, or sorry, we do the treatment here already in March, in April, when we have round about 2 to 3 capped brood frames, capped, because capped is important. Open, no, because there's no mite in there. In the capped, we treat those. And then we bring down this 80% because 80% are dead, mites, I mean. And then you win some time until summer where you then do another intervention. This is the device. It's called Varroa Controller. It is a heating, ventilation, humidification sensors, humidity sensor, temperature sensor, electronic control unit, etc. The point is you can treat 20 frames at once. So if you use two capped brood frames per hive, you have 10, the brood of 10 hives in one treatment. So this is how it works. It's very easy. You take out, shake off the bees, put it in the machine. After the treatment, you put it back. Here we have these steps. You prepare it. You also have to fill in some water. It has a nebulizer because in the hive, as we know, it has 70% humidity. And during the treatment, we also need it, this 70%. Then you apply the sensor. There's one temperature sensor. It's important. You apply it. You press the button, and that's it. And there are some videos. You can have a look at these videos. Then summer treatment, very important. And here we trick the mite before we treat her. So we trick before we treat her. And how do we trick her? We catch her. How can we catch the mite? They're so small. Because we know how they work. We know how they work. They are following the smell, the pheromone of the open brood. And just before the bees are capping the brood, capping the cells, they are sneaking in. And so we make a situation with this box that you see here. It's called the Duplex-Framebox, where we can put two frame. We lock the queen inside. She cannot go out, but she can lay eggs on 2 frames. It's nice, easy, everything is okay. And then before they are capped, the mites go in. No? Then you would say, yeah, well, what's the difference? The difference is that the other brood outside of this box, the bees are born step by step, and we fill after day 12, which is when the brood is capped, we fill again this box with 2 more frames, and then the queen stays in there for another 12 days. That means all the other brood is born, because we are exceeding day 21 by 3 days, apparently. 2 times 12 is 24. And so on day 24, we have only 2 frames. So we tricked her. She, meaning the mite, is now in these 2 frames. And those 2 frames we can take out, and guess what? We do a, yes, heat treatment. Heat treatment, we are 2 frames per hives. And you know what we do with these 2 frames? We make new colonies. We make new colonies, and they are super strong because they are raising without mites. So what is the advantage here? We catch the mite in these 2 brood frames. We treat with the Varroa Controller. By the way, we get 20% more honey. How is that possible? Come on, how is that possible? Yeah, well, look at it. These 24 days when the queen is locked, she's laying eggs, but she's not laying 2,000 eggs a day. As a consequence, bees, they are saying, well, we don't need to treat, don't take care of brood here, not so much. Then what do we do today? You know what? We fly for nectar and pollen. So then you get 20% more honey. And as I already mentioned, you get super nice colonies. And then I'm coming back to what Beate said, which is very important. On day 24, you have the old, let's say old, often used brood frames, the dark ones. They are empty. And now you can take them out and exchange them for new frames. And then, guess what? You will go back to your own wax cycle and enjoy own wax that is free of any chemicals. And this is the way to control the Varroa mite without using anything else than a bit of water and controlled heat. So we go really down to almost 0. And then in autumn, we do it again. And even if there is a reinfestation, like we have it here, end of September, etc., we can still do a heat treatment again, 2 to 3 frames, capped brood frames, and we can close the lid by mid of October. And we know, like I am so happy these days, we know that the 30 hives that I feed in, I did treat in October, they are flying again in February or whenever the first warm day is. And you know, here's the threshold. Remember these 1,000 mites? We always stay below. We always stay below, and we cannot get rid of the mites, that is clear, but we can get rid of the danger. And so we stay below the 1,000, and we know this mite is not causing, these mites are not causing any danger to our hives anymore. And on top of it, we are not destroying any microclimate, any, as we heard here, these very important pheromone smells, etc., by applying acids or anything else, only heat. So what is the advantage here? No more losses of hives. The concept works for large apiaries, for small apiaries. We have clients with 500 hives, 300 hives, 200 hives, 5 hives, 50 hives, and everything in between. Can be applied anytime in the bee season. So when you realize, oh my God, these 2 hives, I don't know why, they are all of a sudden, the monitoring of Varroa, which you always have to do, shows there is an increase. I cannot explain. But you know what? I can treat. I can treat anytime if needed with heat, even in the season. And you can also expand the honey harvest to later blooming periods. Or later beehive air treatment periods. Why not? And as I said, and also Beate said it, it's a perfect combination. So the invention of Jürgen Schmidtgen and the invention of us fit perfectly together. You have the condition of chemical-free beekeeping with hyperthermia, with heat, and based on that, you can do the wonderful medically grade beehive air therapy that delivers the highest standard in the world for enjoying and treating with beehive air. So in that sense, I hope you liked it. If you say, well, wait a moment, sorry, but that was a bit too fast. I was told to be fast because if I'm long, then I'm very long. So you prefer that I'm fast, I promise you. But here you have a book. I have written a book, Handbook of Heat Treatment Against Varroa. It's available for free. You find it on our website in German, in English, in French, and in Slovak. So these 4 languages we can offer. If you have any question, I'm here for you. You can write me. And I thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.